Back in LA, we're Spanish language version of today's game presented by ESPN Deportes. Use the SAP button on your television as we're set for game one of the 2010 NBA Finals. Joe Crawford, Joe DeRosa, and Derek Stafford, the officiating crew. Lakers and the Celtics. It just sounds right at this time of year. And the crowd on its feet at the Staples Center. They have been fired up from about 30 minutes ago as Boston will begin. You like that expression, feel the love. With the fans in this series, it's feel the hate. Rondo gets the pass and gets the finish on a beautiful feed from Paul Pierce.
Good job of setting the tone, looking to make plays early on. What you want to do is not try to make home run plays to start a ball game.
Andrew Bynum and Perkins, one of the fun matchups in this series as Gasol is fouled. Pierce and Artest already grappling. Pierce now walks away. It took 27 seconds for these two to go at it a bit.
But there was nothing wrong with what happened. They were blocking out, and then they fell. This is a good block out by Paul Pierce. And they just got tangled up, and then they both walked away. You would hate to see either guy get a technical foul for that.
I think especially with what happened in the conference finals with Kendrick Perkins, the officials might be a little more hesitant to hand out those double technicals unless it's something really serious. But Joe Crawford's now he's going over to the scores table, and they're giving him double technicals.
Well, I don't know if they deserve the technicals, but that's a heck of a takedown by Artest. I wouldn't have wanted to see him on a high school wrestling mat.
I'll tell you what, we can expect to see that all series long because neither one of these guys are going to give an inch on either end of the floor.
And Mark, you feel that that's the key matchup of the series.
And the reason why you embrace it is because both guys are ultimate competitors, and they're going to challenge each other defensively and offensively.
Gasol throws it away. That's another key matchup. Pau Gasol against Kevin Garnett in the 2008 finals. As Pierce continues to ask about the technical, Garnett certainly won that battle against Gasol when the Celtics beat the Lakers in 6 games to win their title.
And Mike, you go back to that double technical. That's how Perkins has gotten in trouble at the point of suspension. It's not been him getting into it with referees. It's been those double technicals.
Rondo reverse layup won't go. Last touch by Allen. Lakers will get it. Now the Lakers have tried to downplay the fact that it's the Celtics here in the NBA Finals as their matchup, but there's no question it would be extra sweet for them the way they lost that disastrous Game 6 when they lost by 37. As Fisher puts up his first jumper. Another guy simply going for his 5th championship ring.
And all this guy does is win. He competes and he wins. He's a battler and he's not afraid of the moment. You're talking about a guy that makes big shots. That's Derek Fisher.
Fisher commits a foul down the other end on a hold on Ray Allen.
And you have a cross match. Fisher guards Ray Allen to save Kobe Bryant's legs from having to chase Allen off baseline screens. And Bryant is going to try to guard Rondo. And I think Bryant's defense is going to have to be very good in this series.
Fisher's on Ray Allen. Good physical defense from Fisher. He might not be as quick as he used to be, but he's certainly smarter and uses his body well. Allen on Kobe Bryant down this end. Quick pocket. Lakers so far in the postseason undefeated at home. They're 8-0. In fact, the last 3 playoff seasons, they're 28-3. Nearly unbeatable, although one of those losses was back in 08, Game 4 against the Celtics, as Fisher has just picked up his 2nd foul. And quickly, Sasha Vujacic jumps off the bench. He was banished for a while, but he's back in the rotation.
It's interesting. Vujacic did not play a major role in their season, but in 2008, he was on the floor to finish a lot of those games because Ariza was just coming back from injury and Bynum was out. So this is not an unusual substitution because they like, as Artest steals it, they like Vujacic on Allen.
Artest has been in the top 10 of the NBA in steals for years. A great defensive player. Perkins fouled on the entry pass. The shot will not count. And Perkins picks up his first. Already it's a physical start. You know, so much talk, Mark, about can the Lakers match The Boston Celtics and their physical nature. The Celtics were a more physical, tougher team back in 08 than they are this year.
Well, absolutely. When you talk about a healthier, younger Kevin Garnett, he was the anchor of their defense. So absolutely. But I like the way the Lakers are coming out. Everything is playing with force. Offensively, they're going to the paint area. Defensively, they're extending, competing, and putting a body on everybody in green.
And Andrew Bynum playing with that slight tear in his meniscus. Gets that one to go. Ray Allen, the quick release. Allen had some huge games in the finals against the Lakers a couple of years ago. And one of the great shooters in the history of the NBA, has played well in these playoffs. Pierce is on Artest down the other end. Artest rattles it in. He's starting to score in Game 6 against Phoenix. He had 25. And the Lakers have began 4 for 4 from the field. Garnett deflected. Rondo tips it in. Another turnover. Artest struggling with his dribble. Hangs on. Layup. Won't go. Gasol. And he's fouled by Garnett.
And not only is Ron Artest aggressive on the defensive end, but offensively, this may be the ugliest fast break I've ever seen in my life. Unfortunately for the Lakers, Pau Gasol and Kobe Bryant running the floor, comes up with the loose rebound and keeps the possession alive.
You know, we talk so much about the Celtics defense, and rightfully so. They are a great defensive team. But if you look at the numbers in these playoffs, the Lakers' numbers in terms of opponents' field goal percentage is actually lower than the Celtics. Bynum inside. Wild shot. And here comes Boston.
LA has the most physical perimeter players in the league, 1 through 3, with Fisher, Bryant, and Artest.
And then they have an enormous size with Bynum, Gasol, and Odom comes off the bench. Gasol left open. All 5 starters have scored, and the Lakers lead by 6. Rajon Rondo, who has become maybe the emerging star in these NBA playoffs, knocks down the jump shot. He's played as well as anybody on any team in 2010 postseason, really becoming one of the elite point guards in the league.
And that's a shot he's going to have to take and make aggressively as Bryant gets into the paint area. Because ultimately a team is not going to make an adjustment. Rondo's that good where you have to live with giving him something. And teams are going to say, shoot the jump shot.
You see Kobe Bryant backing off as Rondo brings it into the front court. Garnett, nice feed. Rondo moves so well without the ball. Another pretty pass from Garnett.
I don't think, Coach, that's going to be a problem for Bryant to guard Rondo as the initial defender. The problem is going to be when Bryant is roaming, leaving the body of Rondo, allowing him to get uncontested layups like that last possession.
And to me, you've got to let Gasol guard Garnett. He's a jump shooter in the post, one-on-one, no help. Force him to take the turnaround jump.
Kobe Bryant on his way to the basket, a whistle. Ray Allen's not happy with that call, but Ray Allen has 2 fouls. So a couple of starting guards on each team with a pair of personals early.
You're defending Rajon Rondo. You want to roam, but you have to be disciplined defending. Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol has Kevin Garnett well under control. You don't want to double and leave an uncontested guy underneath for a layup.
And Bynum has to do a better job there as he sees Bryant go to help. He's got to help the helper and step over and leave Kendrick Perkins on the perimeter.
Bynum inside, short. Here's the rebound. Tony Allen's in the game with the 2 fouls on Ray Allen. Allen has played well in the playoffs. Misses that Bynum the rebound. Allen, another one of those guards out of the rotation for a lot of the season. As the ball is deflected right to Gasol. And it's going to be a travel. Phil Jackson, and incredibly, his 13th NBA Finals in the last 20 years. It's an astounding number. Regardless of who's on his team, his roster, 10 championships. It's really amazing, Jeff, isn't it?
I mean, you know, it's almost like as Pierce goes by Artest for a layup, it's almost like his greatness sometimes, people